All right, so get out the black ribbons, everybody. Get out the black ribbons. How do you explain that? That black eye. What is going on? Yeah, what is up with that? I mean, what is going on? Why are children always trying to run away from this woman? They're changing out the Eye of Horus to make it look like hers. But notice how children are very uncomfortable with her? And why does a military person have a baby? Children are very intuitive. Oh my. I wouldn't want to be sacrificed either. Oh my gosh, he's feeling the vibrations. He wants to escape. Look at him kicking. He wants to get away so badly. And look at this poor kid. Here comes the queen. This little kid's name is Nathan. He is out of there. So Microsoft or Windows 10, whoever, Microsoft, posts this on the computer in your own private computer to, I guess, memorialize and show mourning for the Queen and her passing. Okay, we've got this slightly edited article on July 13th, 2021. Astonishing spike in post-Needlecraft deaths. Get no fake news coverage as over 2,000 reported this week alone. So lots of damage done. And I'm going to let you listen to this. It's some kind of Zoom meeting courtesy Buckingham Palace. And they want to deliver this essential program across the UK. And I'm going to put the speakers on the phone, see if you can hear this. I'll wait till the Queen talks. So this has been a huge national endeavor. This guy right here is talking. This is Derek Grieve. Look at the name, Grieve, head of Scottish Government Vaccination Division. And they talk about the endeavor, meaning the Needlecraft agenda. And he even admits that he's never seen it on this scale before.
One that I
Okay.
certainly haven't seen of this scale before. We've seen all of those parts of the sector come together against rallying against a common cause, and it's been absolutely heartening to see.
Well, having lived in the war, it's very much like that, you know, when everybody had the same idea. And I think this has rather sort of inspired that, hasn't it?
If I could bottle this community spirit and use it not just for the vaccination program but for other things, I think the job would be done.
Wouldn't it be nice? Feeling of, you know, you're protected, which is, I think, very important. And as far as I can make out, it was quite harmless. It was very quick. And I've had lots of letters from people who've been very surprised by how easy it was to get the vaccine. And the jab didn't hurt at all.
We hope everyone who is offered the vaccine will.
Further on here it says we've done the Needlecraft to all 483 care homes. Well, what a convenient number, huh? And isn't that interesting? There's the gematria there. But his name is there too. Now here are some dates and quotes from Trump regarding the Needlecraft. and I'm going to use the word needlecraft instead of that word. So it says, but I recommend taking the needlecraft. I did it. It's good. Take the needlecraft. DJT, August 21st, 2021. I hope everyone remembers when they're getting the COVID-19 needlecraft that if it wasn't for president, you wouldn't be getting that beautiful shot for 5 years at best, and probably wouldn't be getting it at all. So if it wasn't for him, he says, interesting. That was February 28th, 2021. I hope everyone remembers. I would recommend it, and I would recommend it to a lot of people. They don't want to get it, and a lot of people voted for me, frankly. I don't even know what that means, but that was March 16th, 2021. We have our freedoms, and we have to live by that, and I agree with that also, but it's a great needlecraft. It's a safe needlecraft, and it is something that works. That's March 17th. Get those needlecrafts, everyone. I guess in a certain way, I'm the father of the needlecraft because I was the one that pushed it. To get it done in less than 9 months was a miracle. That was April 29th, 2021. Anyhow, it goes on and on and on. Everybody, go get your needlecraft. Here are more of his quotes. These are literally his quotes. It will save millions of lives and soon end the pandemic once and for all. These needlecrafts are also very safe. Anyhow, I'm not going to put out a now here's in this talk of pushing the needlecraft, this woman right here says that they've had fantastic help. We've had dentists and we've had pharmacists and we've had the military. Thanks for that. So I'm not going to put out a black ribbon for her, anyone who suggests the needlecraft to anybody. If anyone needs a black ribbon, it should be the innocent people who fell for it and trusted their rogue, tyrannical, cult, Kabbalist government. And speaking of black ribbons, look at this. Black Ribbons. It's the fourth studio album by American musician Shooter Jennings. Oh, yeah. Southern rock. Okay, so look at this quote. Shoot, sorry about that. Oh my God. Okay, so look at this image. So isn't this funny? There's your eye, black ribbon. There's the pyramid. There's a little beehive off to the right. Look at the eye, the pupil. It looks like a star. The singles from Black Ribbons is Wake Up. And look at this. It says in February 2009, it was announced that writer Stephen King would play a major role in the album. Remember him? Stephen King is an American author of horror, supernatural fiction, suspense crime, science fiction, and fantasy novels. Remember him? He wrote the book called The Stand, an epic horror fantasy by Stephen King, has attracted all the attention. It says, what happens to society after accidental release of a strain of influenza, which is all this is. And isn't that interesting how David Icke makes the it says conspiracy theorist David Icke was credited as an inspiration for the concept of black ribbon. So that's what you get when you've got controlled opposition. I thought it was interesting. I was looking at a few words here. I'm skipping, of course, all over the place, but the word cult, when I added up the numbers, it was 832 when you just added them up and reduced them. And it's interesting because the word probe is also 832 when you add them up and reduce them. So I went and looked at those numbers, and 832 is Lucifer and March 3rd. But cult and pet goat are also have the same numerical value, as does WWG WGA, so where we go, and then the number 1 won't count, but we go all, and that has the simple gematria of 84. But the reason why I bring up colt and pet goat and all this stuff, there's the lumens to go with all the radio frequencies going on, the EMFs that everyone's tied to with their phones. Because tomorrow is a special day for America. I wonder if they're going to put out black ribbons for all those people who lost their lives in that cult ritual. So while we're looking at colt and pet goat, I'm going to have you listen to this real quick.
9/11. It is a question that will always be asked, and for every person will have a different answer, except for 16 Sarasota children. They were only 7 years old, sitting together in a classroom with President George W. Bush when he learned our nation was under attack. They are grown now, but their memories of that morning are still vivid.
What are these two letters?
They were the face of second grade innocence. Here on the morning of 9/11.
Now they have to tell you exactly what room those kids were in when Bush was whispered, in his ear. That they were in room 301. 301 is Masons and Terrible. And it's also cell phones, 301. Same room number all those kids were in when Bush was reading the pet goat. Oh, it's also politician. If we look at some gematria for the pet goat, which is the book that was being read, it's parasites, Bible 12, as in the 12 apostles, or 12, lots of things with the 12. Holy Bible Code, Field of Dreams, Make a Plan, Suicide Seal, and Genesis 1:1, like Genesis 11, and this die star, which is interesting. I'll show you more about that. So the president just happened to be reading this book to a bunch of school grade kids when he comes and whispers in Bush's ear that, hey, like, Mr. President, we've got a problem here. And look at his name, Andrew Hill Card. Card is in the Trump card, Hill is in Capitol Hill. So Siegfried Engelmann is the one that wrote the book, The Pet Goat. He happened to pass away on February 15th, 2019. And he was an American educationalist who co-developed the approach to instruction termed direct instruction. Test of direct instruction efficiency, it says DISTAR for the direct instruction system for teaching and remediation. And this just continues on to talk about, let me just read this to you so you can quit scrolling this. It says the DISTAR materials were used in some locations that participated in Project FollowThrough, the largest educational experiment in the history of the United States. FollowThrough, which was sponsored by the U.S. Office of Education, began in 1968 and continued into the 70s. The project targeted primary school children in communities with high levels of poverty. Now, these kids are probably in their late or early 30s or late 20s. So Project FollowThrough was the largest and most expensive experimental project in education funded by the U.S. federal government that has ever been conducted. Have you ever heard of this? The most extensive evaluation of FollowThrough data covers the years 1968, 1977. Let's look more into this program. So it was conceived and implemented in the midst of the President Johnson's war on poverty. Has anybody ever noticed anytime they have a war on something, drugs, poverty, whatever, it's always the problem gets worse? So here's the gematria for DISTAR. In no particular order, it's Rockefeller, 911, hello, rebirth, hearts, sacrificial lamb, a secret, and sniper. And he happened to be reading at this school called Emma E. Booker It's weird because this says Emma E. Booker, and down here the caption is A. Booker, but I trust this photo better. And look at the gematria in English and simple, Emma E. Booker. Both September and twin flame. If you go to the simple and English gematria, it's also millions. So the exact numbers. So what are we gonna kill millions? You're gonna make millions eventually? I just think the anagram's kind of funny. Make moo beer out of Emma E. Booker because they use this as a stepping stone. Some people were calling that book My Pet Goat. That was a mistake, but they were first calling it My Pet Goat, and that's soul recognition, bees trap. That could be just the whole collective thing that's going on. My Pet Goat is also sun signs, remdesivir, and San Francisco. Bit Twin Towers, just looking at the anagram, it's WT Sin Tower, like World Trade Sin Tower, and WT equals mark. It's the same numerical value as mark. Oh, again, and looking a little bit deeper into the whole cult thing and the probe, which they end up being the same 832. And I'm looking at the 56 simple gematria. Besides Lucifer, March 3rd, cult, pet goat, WWG, WGA, where we go all. That's probably where that bees trap came from My Pet Goat. The bees trap, like us being the collective. It's a big trap. Where we go one, we go all. It's a trap. So it's also light, 3, Ray, December, Ray, and Raymond. It's an interesting thing, something that keeps coming up all the time. Anyhow, it's also the end. There's the 56 we're looking at. And here it's also BB decided. BB decided, that's 56 and 56 on both ends. So I looked at BB, what's BB? And BIBI, it's 22, 132, and 22. It's fake, died, and Fifi, as in the cove Fifi. So I'm going to do another little jump here. Thinking about that whole Artemis from NASA. There's the Apollo Artemis, because Apollo was her first moon thing, and then the Artemis is remember the goddess of the hunt, and they're twins, Apollo and Artemis. And let's see, Artemis's in her family is Horus, the Eye of Horus, but that's 156. And when I come up here, I know I'm jumping here, but the Apollo Artemis is a 156. And I came down here, and 156 is All Roads Lead to Q, which above it is Holy Bible, below it for Son of Light, which, light's frequency. But Holy Bible, when you look up that, the anagram is by biohell. It's all the same numerology, or I guess I should say gematria, but Holy Bible by biohell. So I also looked at the anagram for Apollo and Artemis. Apollo Artemis, it's AOL primate soul. Or if you want to look at that, instead of AOL, which that's the computer stuff, but primate soul and AOL, you can also look at it as OLA. And guess what OLA is? OLA is wave, as in like sine wave, and sun or solar. Primate soul wave. But the AOL, if you want to go with the AOL primate soul and playing on the words of SOUL to our sun, soul. AOL is an American web portal, an online service provider based in New York City, and then here, better known as PlayNet, also known as PlayNet. But they use the word portal a lot too. And portal is 311. And so is the beast, is portal. And also that all roads lead to Q. When you look at QAnon, it's 201, like event 201. Okay, I also came across a bunch of crusaders. This is a video I watched just a little while ago, but I saw this, and whenever they do a really quick check on some visual, if they do it super quick, stop it and go back and look, because they usually are showing you something, but they make it so quick you don't even pay attention to it. But this sword this guy's holding, it says Militus Christi, or is it just Christ? I don't know. Christ. And Milites were trained regular foot soldiers of ancient Rome, and later a term used to describe soldiers, as in, like, soldier, like you fight my war for me, soldier in medieval. Anyhow, I went back to the whole soul theme again. But first, when I looked at that, when I see the word Christ Milites, is that Milites? Milites? It's see our shit elitism, which we've been having to deal with it for so long. Somehow we need to break this mold. And I guess it's just what sort of bothers me about the black ribbons being, put out, just forced in your computer for the Queen Elizabeth, when everyone else in this world is being killed and murdered. There's lots of people dying. At least she got to go in her sleep, it sounds like. I was looking at the word solutions. Here's another jump. Solutions, because we've got to start coming up with more of those. So you see the word soul and sun in there, but it's either into souls is an anagram, sin to soul, or soul to sin, how they're always trying to get people to sin. Sun is tool or loot. IT solo sun, information technology, that's going to kill us. Anagram for solutions is also out sin soul. Out sin soul. I just thought that was weird. So solutions, and when you look at out sin soul, out sin soul is to surpass in sinning. And we probably all know this, but surpass is to be beyond the limit, powers, or capacity of. To be greater than is in degree or quality. To do more than, to be superior to, like everyone thinks that some people deserve a black ribbon when others don't get one. Yep, surpass, to be greater than. And one more little quick thing, another little side jump, free energy, because so this last one I wanted to tell you, so Ajimez, he asked what was free energy in gematria, and free energy is the matrix. It's 633, the matrix. These are the top two, raise code and raise a god, as in ray, like sine waves, like the sun. And guess what? It's also metaverse. It's the simple gematria of 108 is metaverse. It's also 55. Maybe that's why we see 55 quite a bit. But also when I just looked up I just reduced all the numbers of the gematria. There's 633 is the Jewish gematria. That ends up being 3. 648 ends up being 9, because 9 is the only way it can be reduced. But look, there's 99. And 399 is gut feeling. Talk about free energy. Listen to your gut, huh? Gut feeling. That's a solution. Listen to your gut. And remember when I talked about the assembly bill a couple days ago, and it was about basically, like you can basically, it's infanticide. You can kill a baby, no questions asked, as long as it's 1 month and younger. 1 month born, after birth date, born, 1 month old. And they referred to it, the people that were doing this legislation were referring to it as certain pregnancy outcomes. They didn't really want to name it. They just called it certain pregnancy outcomes. And I looked at that gematria as well. It's now in their database, whether they want it or not, but it's key to escape the matrix, upside down, and George H.W. Bush. I thought that was weird. You just can't get away from this family, and they're just one of the many. I'm sorry, guys, but I think we can do without these people, these elites. They're not special. Why are they getting the black ribbons when everyone else that's suffering under their watch because of them aren't even being looked at? People aren't, they're not even being counted. Not them, the innocent people who are being needle crafted and who aren't even being counted. And look how they continued invading my own home. Like they invade in our homes and our environments. This is, again, my Microsoft Windows. This is my little picture that I get today. You know, yesterday was a black ribbon. This is today. I'm seeing it as like 3 Chinese lanterns. So I'm looking at 3 lanterns, a bridge, and a moon. So I looked at this little message like, what could it be? 3 lanterns, bridge, moon. It's the greatest encoded messenger and vaccines and the devil. It's also United States of America, global pyramid electrical grid. They're constantly, oh, and one more. Also depopulation. So are all these little symbols and pictures they send just huge vaccidents? I like that word, vaccident. It's like all those people that are driving around who've had needle crafted. They're starting to have lots of accidents. Even pilots who are in the airplanes, they're having lots of accidents too. That's a holy war. Reveal hidden truth. Dark winter, as in the Twin Towers even. Connectivity, as in the 5G, what they're doing. Stormy, stormy, stormy. Storm, stormy. But they're all just a bunch of cults, and the more we can get rid of them, the better. Sorry. I'm not feeling very sympathetic today. Especially when they just keep shoving their crud on everyone and they expect everyone to pour their hearts out for them when regular people are just being played like a bunch of idiots. Yeah, right. Bush just happened to be reading that story to the kids, the school kids, on the morning of 9/11. Right.